Well, g'day curd nerds. Today's cheese is Monterey Jack, and Monterey Jack was first developed in California. Now, it's a very popular cheese in the US and increasingly so here in Australia. You can add all sorts of things to Monterey Jack. You can add jalapeños, dried jalapeños, and you can add all sorts of herbs and spices. Now, in this recipe, we're going to be making Monterey Jack plain. So it's a normal pressed curd cheese, very simple to make. And in this variation, we're going to brine the cheese. When I've added salt directly to the curds, I found it's become quite crumbly. So I'm going to brine the cheese today, and we'll see how it turns out. Thanks for watching, and on with the cheese. So here we have the ingredients list. We're using 10 litres of full cream milk, 1/8 of a teaspoon of mesophilic culture. I'm using MO30. 2.5 ml of calcium chloride, 2.5 ml liquid rennet, and some saturated brine solution, so that's 18% saturation, and some cheese wax. Don't forget to dilute your calcium chloride and rennet in non-chlorinated water. Okay, so just pop your milk in, and we're going to turn the heat on and bring it up to 32 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once that's achieved, we'll add our mesophilic culture to the top. This is a direct vat inoculated culture. And we're going to let that rest for a little bit, and then we'll stir it in. So I usually leave that for about 2 or 3 minutes for it to rehydrate on the surface of the milk, and then give it a good stir, top to bottom stirring, for about a minute. So we're going to allow the culture to ripen now, and we're going to allow that to ripen for 45 minutes. That's when it's going to convert the lactose into lactic acid. Okay, so the time has elapsed. We're going to add the calcium chloride solution and give that a good stir through. So once that's well mixed in, we're going to be adding in the rennet. There we go. So make sure when you add your rennet that you're stirring the milk the whole time. So you stir for about a minute, and then stop the milk from moving with the spoon, and then we're going to let that set now for between 40 and 50 minutes. It took 50 minutes for my curds to get a clean break. So we're going to check for a clean break now. So you can use one or two methods. So you can pop your curd knife in and then just pull it up and it should split. There's a clean break on that. Or you can put your pinky in, with clean hands of course, and just lift it up, and if it splits to the side, there we go, lovely clean break there. So now it's time to cut the curds. You want to cut it into 1.25 centimetre cubes or 1/2 inch. So I'm using my trusty curd cutter there. You can use a knife. Here's how I'm doing the vertical cuts. So just using my curd knife and trying to get them about the right size. So I do it one way and then I do it perpendicular to that. Now if you don't have a curd cutter, you just use your curd knife at a 45-degree angle in the pot, and you'll be able to get your cube cuts. So I'm just going to give that a quick mix just to make sure most of the big ones are out. I'm not going to stir it vigorously here, just very gently because the curds are quite tender. If you disturb the curds too much, they actually start to seep their protein. So you're going to let that rest now for 10 minutes. You're going to let them heal. So 10 minutes has elapsed. And you can see they've sunk a little bit. There's a fair bit of whey there. So we're going to give it a good stir now. So just breaking up any of the larger chunks. Put my thermometer back in. So we're currently still at the 32 degrees Celsius. So we're going to increase the heat now up to 38 Celsius or 100 Fahrenheit over the next 40 minutes. So you put it on a very slow heat and you're raising it up very slowly. So I've taken a few shots here. It's about every 7 odd minutes, and you can see that the curds are shrinking as I'm bringing the temperature up to the 38 degrees. See, the curd size is starting to shrink. So we've achieved the target temperature. Now we just stir for another 30 minutes. So at 38 degrees Celsius, don't increase the heat anymore. Just keep it at that temperature, so that's 100 Fahrenheit. You stir it for 30 minutes longer. Now I've done that through the magic of video. And I'm going to let that curds to settle for 30 minutes so it forms a mass on the bottom. So once you've done that, take it over the sink and we're going to drain it through our cheesecloth. I've reserved the whey so I can make some ricotta out of this. It's fairly creamy. And we put our curd mass straight in. Now I found a trick recently that I've just simply put the cheese basket into the colander and then put the cheesecloth over that. Saves a lot of mucking around if you're only making one cheese. So that'll shrink down a little bit. So you don't leave it too long, probably about 3 or 4 minutes. Just enough time to clean your hands again. And you just move that over to the press. See how easy that is? So much easier than mucking around and scooping it into the cheese basket. It's all a learning process, curd nerds. Righto, so just pop the follower on top and we're going to press in our cheese press, or however you want to press your cheese. And you want to press it firmly. So firmly is about 13 kilograms, I think. Yep, there we go, 13 kilograms or 30 pounds of pressure. So you do that for 1 hour, and then once the 1 hour has elapsed, we're going to take it out of the basket, turn it over, and then redress it. So I've just sped that up there. So it's a bit tender at this time, so just be careful when you turn it over. Okay, and just redress it, pop it back in the basket, pop the follower back on top again. And we're going to press it now at the same pressure, so about 13 kilos, 30 pounds for 6 hours. Just make sure it can drain. You can do it on the sink like I'm doing here, or you can use a tray or whatever method that floats your boat basically. So after those 6 hours, we're going to take it out again. And you can see it's formed up quite nicely. It's a lot more solid now, a lot firmer. And we'll pop it back in and we're going to press it again, same pressure, for another 6 hours. Now with the spring that I'm using, I'm basically estimating it's a 50-pound spring. Anyway, so after the next day, and don't mind me, I'm in my pajamas in that shot, so no big deal. You can make cheese in anything you want. Nobody's looking. And then just take it out, and we're going to brine the cheese now. So remember at the start of the video I said I used to add salt to the curds at milling time. I don't do that anymore. I find I get a far better Monterey Jack because it's less crumblier by brining it. Still have the same amount of salt, but it's a much better method. So we're just going to brine that for 12 hours, and then halfway through the 12 hours, just flip it over so the whole lot of the cheese is covered. If you don't have something, oh, it's a boy. You just make sure that it's covered. So then once that's done, you air dry it for 2 to 4 days, turning it twice daily. This is about the 4-day mark. It's got a little bit of mould growth that's starting there. I've wiped that off with a cloth dipped in brine, so it's all ready to wax. So you can wax or vacuum pack. I wanted to maintain the nice shape, so we're going to, I'm waxing this one.
And here's the various stages of me dipping it in the wax. You've probably seen the waxing video, and you can check that out in the card right now. So coat it over. I've got 3 coats of cheese wax. So then we mature it at between 10 and 12 degrees Celsius, which is 50 to 54, for 2 months. And you can see there I'm going to crack that open on the 12th of August 2016. So turn it once weekly and you'll have quite a lovely Monterey Jack.
Thanks for watching the Monterey Jack video tutorial. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to visit the shop, littlegreenworkshops.com.au, and check out some of the other cheese making videos down here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.